What if I told you that Josh Duggar, the once powerful and privileged son of one of America's most famous reality TV families, is now left with only 20 cents to his name behind prison walls? Yes, you heard that right. The man who grew up in a household of cameras, wealth, and unwavering family support is reportedly broke in prison, with just a few coins in his commissary account. Even more shocking, reports claim his own family has cut him off financially. For years, Josh relied on the Duggar name, but now, sources suggest the support he once took for granted has all but disappeared. With no steady flow of money for snacks, phone calls, or even basic necessities, he's experiencing a very different kind of Duggar reality, one without privilege, protection, or parental lifelines. But here's the bigger question: why now? Why would Jim, Bob, and Michelle, who have defended their son through scandal after scandal, finally draw a line in the sand? What does this reveal about the fractured state of the Duggar family behind closed doors? And what does Josh's financial freefall mean for his survival in prison, where money often equals power, safety, and influence? Tonight, we're breaking down this stunning revelation: Josh Duggar's 20-cent reality, the family silence, and what this could mean for his future both behind bars and beyond. Inside federal prison, money works very differently than it does on the outside. Inmates aren't swiping debit cards or carrying cash, but instead, they rely on commissary accounts, essentially their prison bank. Family members or friends can deposit money into these accounts, and inmates use them to buy essentials and small comforts. We're talking about snacks, coffee, hygiene products, paper, pens, and even phone minutes or email access to keep in touch with loved ones. For many prisoners, commissary access can make the difference between barely surviving and feeling somewhat human behind bars. The prison provides the basics, but those basics are often limited, bland, and bare minimum. If you want deodorant that actually works, a snack that tastes like home, or the ability to make a phone call to your family, you depend on money in your commissary. This is where Josh Duggar's situation becomes especially bleak. Reports reveal he currently has just 20 cents left in his account, barely enough to cover a single sheet of paper or a packet of salt from the commissary. And unlike many inmates who receive steady deposits from supportive family members, Josh seems to be cut off financially. Without outside help, he's left scraping by on what the prison provides, which is far from comfortable. Think about what this means in his daily life. With no money, Josh can't buy extra food to fill the hunger gaps between standard prison meals. He can't purchase hygiene products that might make his life a little easier in a cramped environment surrounded by hundreds of other men. He can't regularly email or call his wife, Anna, or his children, unless she's paying for those minutes on her end. Every interaction, every comfort, every small taste of the outside world is suddenly out of his reach. It's a shocking reality check when you compare this to the life Josh used to live. Before prison, he was a Duggar, a member of one of America's most famous reality TV families. He lived in big houses, wore nice clothes, traveled freely, and had access to money, fame, and privilege. Josh's fall from grace is perhaps best symbolized by this financial contrast, from luxury and abundance to counting literal pennies in prison. What was once normal, buying fast food whenever he wanted, picking up personal items with ease, treating his family to vacations, has been replaced with the harsh reality of ration meals, limited contact with his loved ones, and the humiliation of not even being able to afford a packet of instant coffee behind bars. For Josh, the absence of commissary funds isn't just about material deprivation. It's a constant reminder of how far he has fallen, how much support he has lost, and how deeply fractured his family ties may now be. As shocking as Josh Duggar's dwindling prison commissary account is, what makes the situation even more compelling is the possibility that his own family has chosen to cut financial ties with him. For years, Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar were known for fiercely protecting their son in public, even when the scandals surrounding him grew darker and more damaging. They poured resources into defending him legally, emotionally, and publicly. But now, the silence is deafening. Many fans are asking, has the Duggar family finally drawn the line? After years of defending Josh, it appears they may no longer be sending him money for his day-to-day survival in prison. Some insiders suggest this could be a moral decision. With Josh serving a lengthy prison sentence for crimes that shocked the world, it's possible that his parents and siblings are trying to send a message, not only to Josh but to the public, that they are no longer willing to enable him. Others argue the decision may be purely financial. The Duggar family's once lucrative TV empire collapsed after Josh's scandals made headlines. Without TLC footing the bill and with fewer speaking engagements and book deals, the family's income streams have dried up significantly. Supporting a son in prison while also raising younger children and grandchildren may simply not be sustainable anymore. But perhaps the most likely explanation is public image. Jim, Bob, and Michelle are no strangers to reputation management. They know how damaging it looks to stand by Josh when much of the public sees his crimes as unforgivable. By distancing themselves financially, they may be attempting to salvage what little credibility the Duggar name still holds in conservative circles. Reactions from those close to the family have been mixed. Some insiders suggest that this is the first real sign that Jim, Bob, and Michelle are truly letting go of Josh, that they may be prioritizing their other children and grandchildren instead of pouring energy into a son whose actions nearly destroyed their brand. Fans on social media echo this sentiment, with many claiming that it's about time the family stopped coddling him. Others, however, accuse the Duggars of abandoning Josh only when it became inconvenient, noting that their silence now feels less like morality and more like damage control. Either way, the fact remains, Josh Duggar may no longer have the financial safety net he once relied on. The family that once shielded him from accountability may now be stepping back, and that shift could mark one of the biggest changes in the Duggar family dynamic to date. When news broke that Josh Duggar's commissary account had dwindled to just a few cents and that his once tight-knit family may have stopped sending him money, the reaction was immediate and divided. On one side, there were fans and critics who applauded the Duggar family's apparent decision to cut financial ties. For years, the family had been accused of protecting Josh, making excuses, and even shielding him from accountability. To these observers, the silence and lack of support now feels like long overdue justice. Finally, the Duggars are putting their reputation and morals above enabling Josh, one commenter wrote. Others added that the family's refusal to bankroll his prison lifestyle was the first sign they were serious about moving on from his disgrace. But not everyone agreed. Another wave of reactions accused Jim, Bob, Michelle, and the siblings of abandoning one of their own. Even disgraced, they argued, Josh is still a son, a brother, a husband, and a father. Some saw it as cold-hearted for the Duggars, who publicly preach forgiveness, grace, and family unity, to turn their backs when he's at his lowest. If your faith means anything, it should mean standing by your family, even when they've failed, one fan posted. Others accused the family of protecting their brand rather than acting out of moral conviction. And that's where the cultural debate deepens. Should families continue to support disgraced members, or is there a line where support becomes enabling? It's a dilemma that goes far beyond the Duggar household. Many viewers began discussing their own experiences, with some saying they had to cut ties with family who brought harm, while others insisted blood is thicker than water no matter the crime. For the Duggars, though, the fallout is not just personal, it's public. Their brand has always been rooted in the image of a perfect, faith-driven family that overcomes struggles together. If fans believe they've abandoned Josh purely to protect appearances, it could erode what little trust remains. Social media is already flooded with criticism and speculation, and the once massive Duggar fan base has been shrinking since Josh's scandals first surfaced. Now, with this latest chapter, their influence appears to be fading even further. It's a stunning fall from grace when you consider where Josh Duggar began. He was once a star of a hit reality series, a symbol of his parents' values, and even a rising political activist. But today, he sits behind bars with virtually nothing, financially, socially, and reputationally. The boy who once had everything is now the man with nothing, and the family that once defended him now seems to be walking away. Inside prison walls, survival isn't just about food or shelter, it's about mental strength. For Josh Duggar, the combination of isolation, dwindling funds, and the deafening silence from his once loyal family could be devastating. Inmates often rely on emotional and financial ties to the outside world as lifelines. Without those, a person can spiral into depression, paranoia, or even hopelessness. Josh, who once lived under the spotlight, enjoying luxury and influence, now faces the stark reality of life with little more than the 20 cents in his commissary account. Experts in prison psychology often warn that losing family support is one of the most crushing blows for inmates. It strips away not only financial stability, but also a sense of belonging and hope for the future. In many cases, inmates abandoned by family members feel they have nothing left to work toward, no one waiting for them, and no anchor to pull them back into society. This mental isolation can lead to increased disciplinary issues, withdrawal, or worse outcomes. The question now becomes, what does Josh do next? Will he try to file new legal appeals in hopes of shaving down his sentence, even if the chances are slim? Legal battles cost money, and with no financial backing from his parents or siblings, pursuing that path may be difficult. Another option is taking on a prison job. Many inmates rely on these jobs to fund small comforts, washing dishes, cleaning, or working in prison industries. But those wages are notoriously low, sometimes just a few cents an hour. It's a far cry from the life of wealth and privilege Josh once enjoyed. Speculation also grows about whether Josh will attempt to reconnect with his family through legal channels, letters, requests for visits, or pressure from mutual acquaintances. But the bigger question looms large. Has Josh Duggar officially been left behind by the very family that once protected him at all costs? If so, it marks a monumental shift, not just in his personal downfall, but in the Duggar family's legacy. As we close out this deep dive, Josh Duggar's present reality stands in stark contrast to the privileged life he once enjoyed. Once the son of a powerful, wealthy, and highly visible reality TV family, he now sits behind bars with just 20 cents to his name, a figure that perfectly symbolizes his downfall. The lack of financial deposits into his commissary account highlights something even more devastating: the Duggar family's silence. For years, they defended and supported him, but now, that support seems to have vanished. Whether this decision was driven by morality, public image, or sheer exhaustion, the message is the same. Josh may truly be on his own. That 20 cents isn't just about money. It's about what he's lost: family loyalty, public respect, and the comfortable life he once took for granted. The question that remains is whether this is a temporary stand by the Duggars or a permanent fracture that will follow Josh throughout the rest of his sentence. In the end, one thing is clear: prison has stripped Josh Duggar of the privileges that once defined him. His story is no longer about influence, wealth, or fame. It's about survival. In the end, Josh Duggar's 20 cents isn't just about money. It's about what he's lost: family loyalty, public image, and the comfortable life he once took for granted. Whether the Duggars have truly cut him off for good or not, one thing is clear: Josh is facing prison life on his own. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.